Alright, what's up everybody? This is going to be the first video that I've ever made for YouTube, for Facebook, for any sort of anything. I've never even used the FaceTime option on my iPhone before, so if I'm a little nervous, if I'm looking away, I apologize. This is all kind of new to me. But what I wanted to do today was to make a quick video about coronavirus. It's crazy that I'm going to be talking about this of all things. It isn't my preference to cover a topic like that, but it needs to be covered at this point. I was thinking a lot on the drive in today to get ready to make this video about the expression, united we stand, divided we fall. And I think that really needs to be the message about what do we need to be doing as a country and as individuals going forward. We need to kind of strike a balance between fear and rationality. I'm not one of those people that's going to sit there and make a video telling you everything's fine and there's nothing to be worried about. And I'm also not going to be the guy that is going to fearmonger and tell you that the end of the world is here. It's really a delicate balance between the two when you think about it. And the one thing that we can control is how we respond accordingly to the issues that are in front of us. I think that you are going to see a massive uptick in the reported cases in the coming days and weeks. And I think that we need to remember something when those numbers start to roll out en masse. It's not that there's suddenly an outbreak that we weren't aware of. It's just that we're just now getting into the main market, the testing kits that we need to be able to identify what we've got going on. So you're going to see a big uptick in the reported cases of coronavirus in the next week or two. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean that the contagion has gotten out of control all of a sudden so much as it's just we're getting a much more realistic snapshot of how many people are infected and what we need to be doing going forward. There's a lot of really scary developments going on. I read this morning that Amazon is moving to only delivering medical supplies and what they call critical supplies going forward. I mean, our new reality is about to get really crazy. Everything is shutting up. Everything is boarding up. Everybody is going home. We're shutting the schools, public gatherings. It's going to require some sacrifice and some guided thinking on our part about what we do during this phase. The cool thing is that this is all controllable to a certain extent based off of how we behave. If I were going to give us a report card to this point, though, I mean, it's a clear F minus. This panic-driven behavior that we're exhibiting, I mean, it's scary just simply because we're like a bunch of children that have lost our mind all of a sudden. You can't go into a Walmart and buy up, toilet paper or water or basic supplies because everybody panicked. The funny thing to me about that is that for people that actually have had the coronavirus, their biggest confusion in all of it is, why are you buying up all of the toilet paper? This virus doesn't make you crap yourself to death. So it seems a little redundant to go and buy up all of the toilet paper. And you get where I'm going with on all of this is that, I mean, maybe we need to throttle back just a little bit and kind of first think about, what is the appropriate response? Wash your hands. Wash your hands, wash your hands. That's the most obvious to all of it. It's kind of concerning to me that it took something like this to convince all of us that we needed to be washing our hands, but hey. To a bigger point, I guess what I really want to talk about though, and I started on it, and I apologize if I'm rambling, I don't have a teleprompter in front of me, I'm doing this all off the cuff, first take, doing it live. So what I want y'all to think about is the idea that, look at the media coverage, compare it to, I don't know, SARS or Ebola or any of the different, pandemics that we've dealt with over the last several years, and then take a good look at how many mentions of coronavirus there are, how many times the media is inundating, excuse me if I'm saying that word wrong, inundating us with bad information. The reason that they are driving this point home, and you can't get away from it if you're on Facebook, if you're watching the news, if you're watching television in general, you can't get away from this stuff because the media wants you afraid. Think about that for a minute. Before the coronavirus kicked off, there was polling coming out that said very clearly that American trust in media was even less than Congress at this point. We had tuned out, their ratings were in the toilet. Them getting you to fixate on the TV and getting them to, like, you know, cats with a laser pointer, and they're sitting there doing this and making you jump from spot to spot, that's all fear driven. Every time you click, that's money in their pocket. Every time you go buy something up, there's a company that's making a killing off of all of this. So you have to first think about who's giving you the information. If the media makes their money off of keeping you engaged and keeping you afraid, the smartest possible thing that you could do at this point is to turn the television off. Just stop listening to them. I mean, obviously you want to be getting your updates, and there's a lot of things that are going to be changing, but don't let them dictate how you're going to live your life. As far as the sacrifices that we're going to have to make, I was doing a little research before I made this video about the World War II generation in America, and looking at some of the sacrifices that the country willingly made. As far as rationing certain supplies, we gave up certain supplies, we were buying war bonds, we changed our manufacturing capacities for the war effort. No different than, you know, there's an executive order that Trump is working on right now that is geared towards shifting our manufacturing lines to produce the things that we are going to need to get us through the crisis. As far as the behaviors, you know, I touched a little bit on, you know, those of you that went and bought up all of the toilet paper, but to the younger generation, something else that bothered me, I looked on the news yesterday and they were showing, I think it was Daytona Beach, Florida, and the kids are, and I apologize by using the word kids, but to me they're kids, the kids went and flocked to the beaches right now. The selfishness in that behavior should scare all of us. I understand from the younger people's point of view that even if I do get a coronavirus, it's only going to make me a little bit sick. But what you're not taking into account is that you spend a week on spring break, you know, taking advantage of these cheap flights to travel. You pick up this virus, which it's very easy to do. It's not about you, it's about who you pass it on to. I mean, think about that for a minute. You're going to kill grandma when you come home from spring break because you were so busy swapping fluids and getting sick. We need to take a big step back and just think about what we are doing and why. I'm a big fan of the self-quarantine. I'm a big fan that we shut down the schools, that we shut down the public gatherings, just to try and get the contagion under control. And the reason that we're doing it is that people are about to get sick. I touched on that at the beginning of the video when I said you're about to see a massive uptick in the people that are aware that they're sick. When that happens, you know, it's going to stoke fear, but you think hard about the medical professionals in particular, because they're going to be the ones that are going to have to absorb this influx that's coming, and we're doing everything that we can now to get ready for that. You know, people are fear-mongering and saying, do we have enough beds, do we have enough respirators, etc. And obviously those are things that are going to have to be dealt with. But for a minute, just think about self-sacrifice so that our medical professionals, our first responders, our hospitals can deal with as few sick people as possible. I also want you to think a lot about the idea of where do we go after all of this? I mean, right now we're shuttering down, we're all, you know, we've got the kids at home, people are getting laid off, they're losing work. How we approach each other in the coming weeks and months is going to matter a lot. And my point to all of that is that this will pass. We're still going to have to deal with each other. That's not going away. And I guess maybe to be a little more clear, what I'm talking about is the partisanship that's going on politically with the way that they are treating this virus. it's disgusting to hear one political side tell the other one, you know, that they hope that Trump got the coronavirus or that the supporters get the coronavirus. It's kind of odd that it only seems to be afflicting rich liberal elitists right now, and maybe I'll make a different video on my theory about that a different day. But my point is that the coronavirus, you know, it attacks certain groups more severely than others. It seems like it goes after the men harder than the women when you get above about the age 30 threshold, and in particular if you've got autoimmune deficiencies, if you're a smoker, just if you're elderly in general. Those are the people that are the most at risk, but it doesn't differentiate between if you're a Republican or a Democrat. It doesn't care. It's crazy to me that from the get-go, this whole thing was turned into some sort of a way to politicize, to criticize the president. You should be on your knees thanking the man for the things that he did early on. Go back to January when he first initiated the travel ban, and everybody decried how racist that was and how misguided, and it was just Trump being a dictator. He saved lives. He saved a lot of lives with that. If you don't believe that, take a look at what's going on in Italy and some of these other places right now. We could be them, and we're not. He's doing things. Be thankful that you have a businessman that is in the Oval Office right now. Be thankful that it's not a career politician. Trump is doing things for all of us right now. He's closing the interstate travel. He's running, I read today actually that he's working on a new executive order to try and get a stimulus built in so that we can all get some money in a couple of weeks to be able to cover bills. So the idea that if you're politically hoping that this is a way for the man to fail, shame on you. That is the equivalent right now. We're all on a plane together mid-flight, a mile in the sky. Half of you hate the pilot. And so that justifies in your mind that you say out loud, I hope that the pilot tanks the whole thing into the ground and kills all of us. Pull together. If ever there was a moment for Americans to be Americans again, would this not be it? I was having a discussion with some friends of mine today. We were talking about the idea that when was the last time that Americans really pulled together for anything? We had a 1, 2, 3 day pep rally, I guess, when Barack Obama killed Osama bin Laden. Prior to that, I guess the last rally point was 9/11. But truthfully, this country has no sense of itself. Tribalism and all of that has devolved us to a point where it's us and them always. And right now, the argument that I'm trying to make, if you're still watching, thank you, by the way. The argument that I'm trying to make, pull together, if only for now. Admittedly, if you can't tell from the way that I've been approaching all of this, I am a Republican, I am a Trump supporter. I don't care about that right now. What I'm asking is for everybody to just take a deep breath, think about what we're doing right now, and pull together. There's going to be plenty of time once the worst of this is over, going into the summer, that we can go right back to each other's throats. We can go right back to playing blue team versus red team. I'll be the first one on Facebook at that point talking my mess. But for the time being, just be a human being and be an American, if only temporarily. Don't overly panic, but don't be stupid either. Just do whatever is necessary to protect yourself, to protect your family, to protect those that are at most risk right now, and in particular the elderly. I saw a clip on Fox News yesterday that really spoke to me. It was that, I don't know if y'all saw it, it was this woman in Oregon that was on her way into the grocery store, and she got flagged down by this elderly couple, and they were in tears. They're sitting there in the parking lot in their car explaining to this stranger, that they've been sitting there for over an hour, scared to death to go into a shopping center to go get their groceries. And can you blame them? Not just because of they're the most at risk as far as catching the coronavirus, but you people are out trampling each other and stabbing each other over a pack of TP and a bottle of water right now. I mean, really think about that. The idea that the people that we should be most concerned about are looking at us like we're a pack of wild animals. We're not. We're people, we're a society. That's part of what makes the social construct so beautiful, is that we're supposed to pull together at times like this and think about anything but ourselves. If you've got elderly people in your community, friends, family, reach out to them. Ask them if they need some help with things like going to pick up groceries and whatnot. Anything that you could possibly do to help get all of us through this, direct your focus and your energy and your passion into that. With your kids, I saw a great idea from a friend of mine yesterday. She's the director of a nursing home here in Texas. She was saying, if your kids are stuck at home and they're bored, man, make like arts and crafts projects for the local nursing homes. They're not even allowed to have visitors right now because of the lockdown. Anything to put us in a position to where we pull together. Show your kids how to be a patriot and how to be a good citizen right now. I'm begging you. Again, the news is about to get a lot worse. Trust in the plan and trust in the man. Give President Trump the support that he needs right now to get done what needs to get done. If you hate the man, so be it. Like I said earlier, we can pick the sword up again after the summer. We've got an election coming up in November. We can vote it. But for the time being, again, I've never made a video. This will be my first one, but I'm begging everybody to just take a deep breath. Think about your loved ones. Think about the people that you've never met. In a funny way, you know, it's all one and the same at this point, since the virus doesn't seem to discriminate on any of that. Be the best possible person that you can be, and be an example for everybody else. Again, if you're still watching here, and I apologize if I'm rambling, thank you very, very much for taking the time. If the message resonates with you on some level, then please pass it on, share the video. Again, I'm not here to try and shame anybody. I'm not here to try and make anybody feel bad about anything. I'm just pleading for a little bit of sanity and a little bit of community effort. That's all. Thank you very much, and please have a good rest of your day.